Now, the GFS is still showing that we have potentially a major hurricane, potentially still multiple major hurricanes coming towards the U.S. And if it was up to the Euro is still seeing that we're not going to have any hurricane season, no tropical cyclones, all the way to the beginning of October. Hey everybody, Mark again here, WeatherMan Plus. Good morning to you. Happy Sunday to all of you. God bless you today. Now I'm going to show you the latest information on what's going on with the GFS. Also what's going on with the Euro, because the Euro is showing some outrageous information as well. So remember, you've never been here before, subscribe. I am all year long, and help share this information to others so they know what is potentially coming. Now, National Hurricane Center did put out a 5-day potential formation in the MDR, just like we've been seeing here on this channel. And I do believe, still seen by the Euro and GFS, as well as the Canadian, that we are going to have a disturbance over here on the Western Caribbean in the coming days. So far, it's still at 20% in the next 5 days, and we still have PTC4, potential tropical cyclone 4. It never did get a name, and never did become a tropical storm. So we are literally on day 50 of no names streak in the Atlantic hurricane season. We're about to be on the world record for no names for the Atlantic hurricane season for the longest streak. We're about to hit that. And according to the Euro, we are definitely going to hit that. Now, the Pacific also has a disturbance over here that's giving it 20% in the next 5 days, 20% in the next 48 hours. And you can see here from National Hurricane Center, in the next 72 hours, this wave is still coming to the Western MDR, is still making its way towards the islands, while we have this surface low from this wave going to the Eastern Pacific, and that is what they see. This wave back here is the one, according to Euro, according to GFS, this is the wave to watch. This wave right here is trending with the GFS, but it's not trending with the Euro as far as strength, but the Euro sees this going towards Florida as well. Now, the one thing that we need to keep in mind is the wind shear in the Caribbean. And the wind shear right now is at an all-time low for the season. As we go towards late August and going towards our September, we are well below average of wind shear in our Caribbean. Another thing to keep in mind is the temperatures in our Gulf of Mexico. Just like this last disturbance we had, it was just a group of disorganized thunderstorms, but it was rotating. As soon as it hit these temperatures, tropical depression, right on the edge of becoming a tropical storm. It couldn't get a closed low, but it was strengthening very quick. And if you look at it, it wasn't over the hottest part of our Gulf of Mexico. Now this next wave that's coming through is coming through some of the hottest parts, and the trend has been going to the hottest sections of our Gulf of Mexico, as well as the southeast of the U.S. right past Florida. Now, our latest temperatures as of 4 p.m. yesterday, we are well into the high 80s into our Gulf of Mexico. And when you look at the heat index, we are well over 90s, even over 100. So what this is going to do is put a lot of moisture in the atmosphere. So when something comes in here into the Gulf or the southeast of the U.S., it is going to feed it a lot of precipitation. It is going to be so ready to ramp up. All it needs is no shear, some lift, and it's time to go. As we look at the latest run with the GFS, the 0Z, you can see that Invest 99L, PTC4 does bring a lot of precipitation towards eastern Texas. That as we go in the coming days, the heaviness is for northeast Texas, northern Louisiana, and it continues to track to the southeast for days. We're already by Wednesday still getting precipitation. Now, by the 27th and 28th is when this next wave always trended that it was coming by. So far, by the 26th on the 0Z, it shows it being lifted out past Florida, but we have more precipitable water that is coming into our Gulf of Mexico, and the bulk of it compared to the GFS, maybe Florida, maybe the southeast of the U.S., and maybe go a little western in our Gulf of Mexico and go towards Louisiana with all this precipitation. Now, that has been trending on the GFS, whether it's Texas, Louisiana, or northeast, which has been trending over 2 weeks. That's going to be going towards the northeast Gulf of Mexico. Either way we look at it, there's going to be a lot of rainfall at one time if it doesn't form. And what we seen last night on the 18Z was very concerning. Now, last night on the 18Z, it confirms that this is getting this big bulk of disorganized thunderstorms into our Gulf of Mexico by the 28th. It's been showing that for a long time. Then as it comes in, it still shows it don't quite get together. A lot of precipitation, possible winds, not too high. But after that, the next two waves come in hot. So first we have a potential major hurricane by the first, going by the Bahamas, going over southern Florida by the second and third, getting into the Gulf of Mexico, and everybody knows what happens if you get something in the Gulf of Mexico. It can turn a group of disorganized thunderstorms almost into a tropical storm in 24 hours. And we get a potential, another major hurricane coming right up on the East Coast going towards the Carolinas. It's shown that for a long time as well. And they pretty much come at the same time, back to back. So if this were to happen, you would literally have a major hurricane on the west side of Florida. You'd have a major hurricane on the east side of Florida, and that would be catastrophic if it was to happen. Now, the only good thing about this is these runs that GFS shows, it does not trend with all the weather models. They all show it coming to the Gulf of Mexico. The GFS, which we all know has all been a little hit and miss, but it has been trending. So you need to keep your eye open just a little bit for that since it's been trending. Canadians always showed it going towards Louisiana, towards Texas. Euro always showed it going out towards the Eastern Pacific. Still going to our Gulf. Gets pushed out to the west by a cold front we do have coming on around the 1st of September. But after that, pretty much nothing all September. Now, the worst part about this is when you look at a 10-meter wind speed, you see that that first wave goes towards Florida. Don't bring a lot. It brings maybe some 20 and 30 miles per hour winds. It could get to a tropical depression, maybe strengthen up, because we all know how everything is in the Gulf. But as you keep on going, that next wave that gets up goes through the Bahamas, bringing 80 miles per hour, 10-meter winds. And as you keep on going, you can see the strength on both of these cyclones. Both of them are showing a lot of strength. And we are talking 113 miles per hour winds with the system. Now, when you zoom in a little bit more, you can see the strength goes up to 115 miles per hour, 10-meter winds. That would literally put the strength of the storm. So 115 miles per hour would definitely make it major hurricanes. And when we go look at the wind gusts just to see what would play out with that, it literally brings 130 miles per hour wind gusts with it as these ramp up. First one brings 90 miles per hour wind gusts over southern Florida. Then it gets up to over 100 miles per hour wind gusts as it goes towards New Orleans. If that were to happen, it would be attention Florida, attention Miami, all the way up to Tampa. This would be a serious storm. As we look at a potential strength, checking just for a tropical depression, you can see in 72 hours, the storm still strengthening over northern Texas as it weakens down in the next 5 days, heads towards Louisiana, bringing y'all a lot of rainfall. I do have your rainfall totals. Then as you keep on going, you can see the next wave goes towards the southern half of the Bay of Campeche. That's where a Canadian and the Euro has been trending the western side of the Gulf of Mexico. As we get this next wave coming through our Caribbean islands. Now as we go towards the 28th through the 30th, you can see we do have lift going into our western Caribbean, while we have lift over here over the islands, which will feed both of these waves as it keeps going. Now, the Euro shows that as you go towards the first, this energy will shift towards the western Gulf of Mexico right around September 1st. We do have a cold front coming down. Also, this energy will transfer over towards the Bahamas for potential lift on that wave, while this next wave could go a little northern. Matter of fact, that's been the trend for the Euro for the whole season. Everything was going to come off the MDR, the main development region, and just head north. And we're not going to get anything. You can see by the 28th through the 30th, very little bit on that first wave, very small chance. That second wave always showed it had better potential according to the Euro. But then you can see as it gets closer, our chances for a tropical development does grow. And this is chances for a tropical storm, not a tropical depression. So this is one of the areas that has been trending, a big strong curve going around to the southeast of the U.S. and chances for it to build. While this one looks like it is starting to head northern. So when you check with the SpaghettiOs, according to the Euro, possible cyclone locations, you can see by the time you get to the 29th, it does show a lot of energy going towards the Bay of Campeche, Eastern Pacific, we also start picking up the waves. This one's passing by Jamaica, while the other one's passing by the Bahamas. And it does strengthen up with this chances for something to form by the end of the month, by the beginning of September. And this has been trending with the GFS for over 2 weeks. And it was going to be right here on the northeast of the Gulf of Mexico, because this is where we're going to be having our neutral phase to possible lift while we have sinking air on the western side, according to the Euro. And those next waves, it is just trending that they're just going to head west, northwest, with something maybe could build back up into the Gulf of Mexico as we go into September. Take that with a grain of salt, because Euro is showing we have no hurricane season still. So let's see the difference with the GFS. Yesterday on that 18Z, when it showed the double, multiple major hurricanes, you can see it does show a potential by the 25th for something to come in and strengthen in the same area that the Euro is showing the potential can grow. And the rest of them comes a little either further west, gets hit with that cold front. You see how it just curves on down. And these coming off the MDR will head northern and strengthen up. The latest run, the 0Z, still shows those potentials by the 27th. And we still have multiple locations. It can still go across the southeast of the U.S., still get into our Gulf, still go western in the Gulf of Mexico. That is still showing true on all the potentials. While the next ones that come off the MDR do head north, just like the Euro is trending, that everything is going to head north, and we literally have no hurricane season. So as we look through the ensembles and see what the more than likely outcome is with the GFS and see what its update is for today. And you can see by the time you get towards August 30th that it does show in multiple ensembles that these two waves are going to be passing through. A lot of them show it could be in the Gulf already. Most of them show it will be passing by Jamaica, the Caribbean islands, while it passes by for that time. And as you keep following it through, you can see there is a good chance for these to form up. It is trending in a lot of the ensembles. Either go around to the southeast, major hurricane, still both of them in the Gulf, maybe going around the southeast. And going around the southeast is what's trending. And if you look at the one right here on E27, it is showing a catastrophic monster in the Gulf of Mexico, while the rest of these are showing it will go by the southeast and strengthen up, while you also see one going to the west and strengthen up. But as we take a look at our controlled member, that's this one right here, you can see that by the 29th, it shows maybe you get an upper level low in the southern half of the Bay of Campeche while that next wave comes up. And that next wave is the one that shows the best potential to form up and go around the southeast of the U.S., become a major hurricane by September 3rd and 4th, and still curving towards the Carolinas. That right there has been trending a lot, even with the Euro. And you can see right here for the East Coast, if that was to play out on the controlled member, that it would go right around high pressure, keeping it to the west and just going right towards the Carolinas, a major hurricane. And as we take a look at the Arctic Oscillation, what the updates are on this possible cold front, it is showing still it could go all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico. Still showing by the time we get to the 27th and 28th, we are going to be in a cold front. GFS has shown this morning that it will go deeper by September 2nd or 3rd. And very much a lot of cold air coming all the way down to the deep south. Now take this with a grain of salt, because you can see the previous run did not show that happening. This right here is too far to be sure, but it is a possibility. Because when you look at the EPS, the extended for the Euro, you can see it does confirm that by the 27th, 28th, that we are going to have this cold front coming down all the way to the 5th and probably the 6th of September. But as you can see, the previous run was way deeper, and it has retracted back to where it's saying it's not going to be that cold. And when you look at GFS on the extended, the GEFS, you can see it's showing about the same thing as what the Euro is seeing, that it has retracted back, but it's still coming. Now, it shows you the 18Z. As we look at the 0Z, the update this morning, you can see you still have your two waves by September 1st, still coming by the Bahamas and still making its way, but then it starts making that northern turn and nothing forms out of it. At the same time, when you look at your precipitable water, you can see right here on the 28th, on the 0Z run, the latest update, that according to the GFS, all that precipitation still makes it to the Gulf of Mexico. It just, for some reason, cannot get formed up, and we will invest this as it gets closer, but it's still trending that it's going towards Louisiana, Texas, towards the western side of the Gulf of Mexico with all this precipitation. And Ural sees that there's going to be some sinking air over there at that time, very stable environment, not a lot of lift. And that cold front does come around right around the 1st through the 5th of September. Now don't freak out because you see a cold front because it's still too far away to be sure, but it's still only showing 50-degree temperatures as this comes down. It will be overnight. However, it's still showing that you're going to be in the 40s for the upper Midwest going through the Ohio Valley. Now when you look at the 0Z run according to the Euro, you can see by the 28th that you still have this wave moving through, seen by the GFS. The Euro just don't give it a lot of strength. It moves through and then the wave behind it starts catching up. Then you can see at the last moment, right around the 30th, it does start to strengthen up, and this is according to the Euro, as it heads toward the Bahamas, the same location the GFS is seeing. Now in the ensembles, I have seen the Fujiwara effect with these two waves where they swing around each other. One swings one around. I've seen another ensemble where it does a Fujiwara effect, but then they get together as one strong system by Cuba going in the Gulf. So we do need to pay a lot of attention to these next waves coming off. As you can see on the precipitable water with the Euro, that wave that I just showed you does have a lot of precipitation, and it does build up stronger with precipitation as it goes towards Bahamas for the 30th, probably the 1st of the month, because these things always move a day or two later when it's so far away. But that location is trending with the Euro as well as the GFS. Now this is where things get different. The GFS, as well as this potential velocity anomaly showing us our lift or sinking air, goes against the model runs. The Euro, as far as the rising and sinking air, just shows we're not going to have no hurricane season still. So as you look at a potential velocity anomaly according to GFS, shows a lot of lift coming off the MDR, our main development region from Eastern Caribbean to Africa. And this is all the way from now all the way to the first week of September. A lot of strong lift coming off. Then if you look, you can see that right around the 24th and 25th, GFS is showing this system comes off strong, hits a lot of sinking air. We still have a lot of dust coming off, guys, and that system is not too strong. So the models have been showing these major hurricanes, according to the potential velocity anomaly, that it would not be a major hurricane. A major hurricane would look like that. Then again, we all know what happens when something gets into the Gulf. Just like this invest that we look at, the PTC4, it didn't show up on here, but as soon as it hit that warm waters, it was a problem. So no matter what strength the GFS or the Euro sees, we do need to watch these next 2 to 3 waves that is coming off Africa, and it is coming our way. Now, when you look at the same thing with the Euro, it is pretty much trending the same way as the GFS. You have a lot of lift coming off the MDR all the way to the beginning of September, and that one that we're looking at around the 28th does have a little strength to it. Not much, but it is trending on both models that there will be something forming around the 28th, and it's either going to be in the Gulf or the southeast of the U.S. That's the 2 locations. After that, a lot of sinking air still all the way to the beginning of October. Now, if you've never been here before, Euro has always shown ever since July that we wasn't going to have any systems coming, no worries, all the way to October. It is still showing that. And that is actually going against its own information with the MJO. Because as you look at the latest MJO, the Madden-Julian oscillation, according to the Euro, you can see that right around the 25th of August, that we do get a lot of neutral phase right here in the Caribbean. We get some lift for Central American gyre, also the Gulf of Mexico, while we have all this sinking air from the Caribbean all the way to Africa, our MDR, which is no chance for development in that. But there is a potential for something to grow in this. As we go towards the 30th of August, all this lift starts moving into our Caribbean right when this wave is passing by. And as we keep on going through September, it just keeps pushing towards the MDR. Nothing but a lot of lift. Showing our hurricane season is really going to ramp up for September. So According to the MJO, it's going to ramp up. According to the potential velocity anomaly with the Euro, we're going to have sinking air all the way to October. So it kind of goes against itself. Matter of fact, as we look at the ensembles according to the Euro, you can see right here on the 27th that some of them are showing that this wave will go towards our Gulf of Mexico. And as you keep on going, you can see it goes into our Gulf, heads right towards northern Gulf of Mexico, and goes towards Louisiana. And that is very much a major hurricane. While this next one shows it will be curving to the north of the Atlantic, and it's not really going to be a big deal. But as you look at the first ensemble member, which is the most likely outcome out of all these, you can see that by September 9th, Euro is showing a potential lift, potential storm coming across the Caribbean and going towards Florida right around September 13th. None of the ensemble members are showing we're going to have anything else. Maybe a system coming sometime around September 24th. Going towards the coast, that is kind of trending a little bit. Maybe a Gulf storm. It's still too far to be sure. But Euro is showing nothing's really going to pick up until we get towards late September. Now, as you look at the first ensemble member and see what's going on with the Euro, you can see that by the 29th, it does show that we have something getting into our Gulf of Mexico. It's showing it's going west, northwest towards Texas, but then it curves to the south. Now, even though it shows something weak, if that were to play out, it would be a strong storm because the Gulf is way too hot. It also shows that this next wave that comes up does go by the Caribbean islands by the time you get towards the 10th of September, and it does curve right past Florida as a potential major hurricane. This is where it gets really crazy with the Euro. When you look at your controlled member of the Euro, instead of the first one, which is your next outcome. By the time you get to August 29th, it's not showing anything in the Gulf of Mexico. And as you keep on going, it's not showing any system coming our way. If anything comes off the MDR, it will go north into the Atlantic and not be any worries towards us. Guys, I am showing you an ensemble member with the Euro all the way to the end of September, all the way to October 3rd. Nothing. So as we bring in a third party, the NASA satellite, as we look at the GOES satellite, you can see right around the 23rd, right when they said we have that development of a tropical depression or greater strength, that we do get a lot of precipitation right in front of these next waves. And all that precipitation carries over the Bahamas and does go towards the southeast right over Florida by the 28th. So this precipitation is coming. It's seen by the GFS, it's seen by the Euro, it's seen by the NASA satellite, it's seen by the Canadian. Where it's going and how much strength it's going to have is still up in the air. We do need to keep our eye on it. And the next two waves coming off the MDR still showing that they're going to be going to the west. That first one coming by Puerto Rico does pick up precipitation as it heads towards Cuba by the 30th. The second one coming off the MDR is picking up more precipitation by the 30th as it comes through the MDR. Now let me give you the flooding update on what's going on with this PTC4, this Invest, as it continues to feed this cold front, this stalled front that's over the southeast. And as of the update, National Weather Service has, within the next 72 hours, a lot more rainfall coming, mostly for eastern Texas, northern Louisiana, and southern Arkansas still. And so far, the heaviest in the next 72 hours will be up to 7 inches in that light brown of that region. Now, the Euro has been showing in the next 72 hours it's going to be even heavier. It's going to stretch all the way to northern Louisiana, Mississippi, southern Arkansas, with very much heavy precipitation, anywhere from 7 to 10 inches in all this brown. And as you keep checking the tracks, because the stalled front, all that precipitation is still feeding it shows it keeps on going all the way to the Carolinas, all the way to the 29th. And look at this. So far, the heaviest now is going to be over central to northern Mississippi and Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, and Alabama. A big hot spot for some serious flooding. You can also see this from National Weather Service. Next 72 hours, that shot I showed you, that's what it looks like. When you go 2 days later, it brings up a lot more precipitation over everybody. You go 2 more days, it goes out to the coast. So we are talking literally with that orange 5 to 7 inches potential of rainfall. All that dark red is still 4 to 5 inches of rainfall. A lot of rain coming still. But the flooding stage is seen by National Weather Service a very serious flooding stage. So what you had already, plus today, you got some for the Ohio Valley, the Southeast. Now you're in this moderate level and this big slight risk for today. For tomorrow, this moderate level and this big slight risk will move over Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana. Then as you go from Monday into Tuesday, a huge slight risk for flash flooding. And as you go from Tuesday into Wednesday, a big slight risk stretching all the way from Texas to Mississippi. That's the update I have for you for today. So thank you so much for visiting my channel. Please share this information. Let others know that there is some waves coming. We don't really know exactly what's going to be the outcome out of it. However, there is some bad choices that we are seeing pop up in the possibilities. So thank you so much for your help. Hope you all have a very blessed Sunday today. Isaiah 41, 8 through 16. But thou, Israel, art my servant, Jacob whom I have chosen, the seed of Abraham, my friend. Thou whom I have taken from the ends of the earth, and called thee from the chief men thereof, and said unto thee, Thou art my servant, I have chosen thee, and not cast thee away. Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy God. I will strengthen thee. Yes, I will help thee. Yes, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness. Behold, all they that were incensed against thee shall be ashamed and confounded. They shall be as nothing, and they that strive with thee shall perish. Thou shalt seek them and shalt not find them. Even them that contended with thee, they that war against thee shall be as nothing, and as a thing of naught. For I, the Lord thy God, will hold thy right hand, saying unto thee, Fear not, I will help thee. Fear not, thou worm Jacob, and ye men of Israel. I will help thee, saith the Lord, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. Behold, I will make thee a new sharp threshing instrument having teeth. Thou shalt thresh the mountains and beat them small, and shalt make the hills as chaff. Thou shalt fan them, and the wind shall carry them away, and the whirlwind shall scatter them. And thou shalt rejoice in the Lord, and shalt glory in the Holy One of Israel. When the poor and needy seek water, and there is none, and their tongue faileth for thirst, I, the Lord, will hear them. I, the God of Israel, will not forsake them. I will open rivers in high places and fountains in the midst of the valleys. I will make the wilderness a pool of water, and the dry land springs of water. Amen. Thank you all for your time. Once again, God bless you and keep your families safe for the rest of this hurricane season. Tell me what you think in the comments. Do you think the Euro is correct? Do you think our hurricane season is done until maybe October? But above all things, I hope you have a very peaceful and a very blessed Sunday. All power, all glory does go to Yahweh, God of Jacob, our Father. And he says, fear not. He will help you. Amen. Hallelujah. Have a great day, everybody.